Wrestling fans of the internet, welcome back to another episode of the Mainline at Linwood Wrestling Legends. As always, we are coming to you live and direct from an abandoned warehouse in Linwood. So if you love wrestling as much as we do here at Linwood Wrestling Legends, then you just gotta step on that mainline. As always, I am your faithful host and color commentator, John. We are a week out from our big mystery box PLE, but fear not, good people of Linwood, because we still have more than enough action to go around. But hang on just a sec there, folks, because I am getting a message. It seems something is happening ringside, so let's go check it out right now. Oh god, who or what am I looking at? Help me out here, folks. Let me just pull this up quick. Corey312, social Sasquatch influencer. Oh god, I want to punch this guy already. Oh my god. Son, what is your major malfunction? Somewhere a village is missing its idiot and we found him. Between the blue broccoli haircut, Cockney pickpockets t-shirt and general mannerisms, everything in my body just wants to punch this guy. That right there is a question for the ages, and please God tell me he's not going to wrestle on our roster. Better yet, just give me 5 minutes alone out back in the parking lot. How magnanimous of you, Corey312. Oh, please Todd, tell me you're not going to sign off on this. Isn't our men's roster enough of an embarrassment without this jumped up little shit weasel? Don't take the bait, Todd. I'm begging you. Alright, Todd, put him in his place. Influencers have no business anywhere near the wrestling ring. My boss, Todd Sorensen, giving it to this ass clown with both barrels. I hope. Come on, Todd, make him cry in front of this live audience. Well, we can't argue with that logic now, can we? I mean, screw all those wrestlers who've actually put in the work, right? I mean, joke's on them for not shilling crypto, right? And it should be noted that most of Corey312's 2.1 million followers are under 12 years old. And shout out to all of them watching on Roblox, I guess. If that's what one does on Roblox. I don't know. I'm a middle-aged man with no children, so I have no idea. Reaction videos and AI slop. Thank you, Corey312, for ruining the internet. This quote-unquote man should be ashamed of himself. Oh, you've got to be kidding. It's bad enough you give this clown a match, but now you put me in a position where I have to cheer for the Boxberg Butcher. I hate you so much right now, Todd Sorensen. First match of the card, and we haven't seen the leopard woman Grace Mutibo for quite some time, but she is back tonight to stalk her prey. And tonight, that prey is none other than the prototype Nikita Kalishnikov. We've got a very unorthodox high flyer versus a skilled technician, and we are about to see what happens when mammal and machine collide. Let's go ringside right now and check it out. The following match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Poprovskoye, Siberia in Russia, she is the prototype, Nikita Kalishnikov. Say what you will about the unpleasantness we just saw before, but it is always a pleasure to see a wrestler of Nikita Kalishnikov's caliber strut her stuff. I'm hoping this match will be a nice palate cleanser. And speaking of palate cleansers, you'll be happy to know that I made good on my promise from last week. I am a man of my word, and when I said that I would ingest the Domino's pizza of the Cockney Pickpockets one, I did exactly that. I'll spare you the grisly biological details, but I ingested it, kept it down, it was unpleasant for all concerned, and now my toilet has stretch marks. But I've learned my lesson, and I will never make a promise that foolish again. And her opponent. Sweet, merciful crap. We got the Blue Bomber coming out of nowhere to attack the Leopard Woman before her match. Referee Henrietta Sorensen sending Whitney Olivier on her way. Those two have been at each other's throats for nearly a year now. Grace Mutibo wants to continue, and rather mercifully, we still have a match. Referee Henrietta Sorensen rings the bell. Leopard Woman running in with a Superman punch. She was not fazed at all by the Blue Bomber's cowardly ambush. Firing off with a few choice chops and a code breaker to send her opponent to the mat. Believe it or not, folks, this business between her and the Blue Bomber started last year over a really stupid argument. That argument was the spark to set things off, but since then both sides have just been continually throwing their bullets in the fire. Leopard Woman with a foot DDT. Whatever advantage the prototype may have had is quickly being nullified. And believe it or not, that argument was about Brendan Fraser's acting abilities. Leopard Woman going for the rake on her opponent's eyes. I do not want to pick a side here, so let me just say this. I have no strong opinions one way or the other about Brendan Fraser's acting abilities. He is no Russell Ira Crowe, but he is no Jaden Smith either. Prototype sticking the mule kick, and can she get the pin? 1, 2. Ooh, nearly a 2. That said, I could absolutely see myself throwing down if somebody dared to besmirch New Zealand's greatest national treasure, Carl Urban. I hope it never comes to that, because I bruise easily. And look at that Tilda whirl head scissors. And while I might not be able to provide much in the way of fisticuffs in defense of New Zealand national treasure Carl Urban, I can absolutely bring it with the childish name calling. Leopard Woman looking for the run up into the corner, but the prototype has got her number. And that number may possibly be a 3 or 4, and we got a whip into the corner. Prototype getting in, a cornered shot, and down goes the Leopard Woman. Kalishnikov bringing the foot scrubs, and those scrubs ain't getting no love, just hanging on the passenger's side of their best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. And that line would have made a hell of a lot more sense if this was one of Left Eye's matches. Can she stick the submission? Is it going to be tap or snap? We have never seen anybody choose snap, and I wish somebody would, just for the sake of surprise. And look at that lovely spinning head scissors. We got somebody in the crowd holding a sign saying the prototype is not a robot. But to be honest, the jury is still out on that one. I'm pretty sure I've seen her leaking oil in a couple of matches. But then again, my vision ain't what it used to was. We are back on our feet, and we are seeing a little Bolshoi ballet. Into the corner goes the prototype, and she eats the Superman punch. Grace Mutibo looking to take flight like a majestic leopard. That's what leopards do, right? But her attempt is foiled. Some leopards were never meant to fly, although most of them can do some pretty sweet jumps. I have no doubt that Ernie the cameraman will hit me up with some leopard facts any minute. And that train is never late, folks. Let's take a look. Leopards can jump 3 meters vertically or 6 meters horizontally. Thank you, Ernie the cameraman, for that absolutely pointless fact. Leopard Woman getting the hammerlock and hitting the suplex. Whatever injuries she got from the Blue Bomber earlier have not slowed her down one bit. Laying her out with a single-leg shotgun dropkick. This match might just be a little more than the prototype bargained for, and we got the drive into the corner. Oh my god, I think we're going to see an avalanche here, folks. I love me a good avalanche. For one thing, there is no faking gravity. The anticipation is the hardest part, and boom, there we go. Let's see that again. Although I wouldn't want to see one in each and every match, a match is almost always better with an avalanche than without it. And I give that avalanche suplex a hearty thumbs up. This match is not quite the day at the beach the prototype was hoping for, and can she get the pin? We got the 1, and a kick out just after the 1. And if you were looking for a day at the beach here in Linwood, homie, you got the wrong time of year, because we are going into good gravy. That right there was the broad femur ritual, and can she get the pin? 1, 2. Kick out just after the 2. Let's see that again. This move, the broad femur ritual, was possibly invented by the Leopard Society. And much like that sweatshop in Linwood, the Leopard Society does not exist and is not active to this day. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The Leopard woman is breaking out the heavy artillery, getting the jump on her opponent with those mounted punches. She is one of the most unorthodox high flyers I have ever seen at this or any other promotion. Things are starting to look... No, I was wrong. Don't ever count out the prototype. No matter what you throw at the prototype, she will keep on coming for your boots, your clothes, and your motorcycle. And we got the whip into the corner. There goes the running forearm and a bit of a oh, good golly, Miss Molly, look at that. A backflip Pele kick. Ow, that was painful to look at. But that right there just feeds into my speculation that the prototype is indeed a robot. The other day, I saw her with a USB cable dangling out of her pocket. Explain that. Oh, good gravy, we are seeing it. 1 babushka, 2 babushkas, 3 babushkas. That was the babushka roll. Let's see that again. Here at Linwood Wrestling Legends, we promise you more babushkas per match. And we are absolutely delivering in this one. If any other wrestling promotion claims to have more babushkas, they're probably cheating. And can she get the pin? 1. Oh, we got a rope break. That was timely indeed. Referee Henrietta Sorensen going translucent, and apparently that's what all the kids are doing these days. Just ask Corey312. We got the whip into the ropes. Down she goes. Look at that mule kick. But folks, we are a week out from our big mystery box event. And who knows if these two will be competing for the women's mystery box. Prototype clocking her with a suplex. It could be literally anyone on the singles or tag roster competing for either mystery box. The surprise is half the fun, and we're just going to have to wait till next week to find out. These two should be looking to take this one back ringside, but the prototype is thumping her way to freedom. Leopard woman going for a bit of a jog along the cardboard, and if that was a distance of less than 6 meters, she could have jumped horizontally, at least according to Ernie the cameraman. That count is coming down like the sword of Damocles, and these two better hustle back. And mercifully, we are going back into the ring. I'm kind of shocked we haven't seen any blood yet, but there's still plenty of time for that. And we have got a good old-fashioned slobber knocker. These two are firing back and forth with shots across the bow, and there is every chance we will start to see some blood and or motor oil leaking. But don't quote me on that. We're only 1 match in, and the crowd is already blowing the roof off this abandoned warehouse. Although one hopes not literally, because we are dealing with enough working safety and building code violations as it is. But the good news is we have managed to get the health inspector off our ass after all this time, so it is relatively safe to eat at the concession stand. Grace Mutibo coming out on top in that little back and forth. Prototype going into the corner. And it looks like we got a run-up. Or maybe not. We're starting to see a few mind games getting played in this late stage of the match. But I've got to say, so far, ambushes aside, this has been a damn good opening match. We're about to see some of the prototype's possibly robotic strength on display here. She is carrying her opponent like a baby and cracking her down with the backbreaker. And boom, there goes another one. Although I would be willing to concede that perhaps the prototype is some kind of cyborg. And folks, I think we're about to see it. This one is always impressive. Boom, there goes the Vilovka elbow drop. Can she get the pin? 1, 2, 3. Nikita Kalishnikov takes the win. Let's go see some highlights from Ernie the cameraman. It's hard to say just how much of a factor that cowardly ambush from Whitney Olivier played in the outcome of this match, but it's absolutely a factor that can't be overlooked. At the very least, the Leopard woman will no doubt be wanting a rematch, and definitely some sort of comeuppance against the Blue Bomber. But there's a lesson for all of us here, folks. The next time you get into an argument about Brendan Fraser's acting ability, it could very well lead to a year-long feud full of ambushes, cheap shots, and childish name-calling. Questionable as the circumstances may be, this was another stellar victory for Nikita Kalishnikov. She is a credit to our promotion, and she continues to demonstrate why she is one of the best in our women's division. Congratulations to the prototype Nikita Kalishnikov on a well-deserved victory. We can only speculate about what might have happened if the leopard woman hadn't been ambushed, but one thing's for sure, if there's a rematch, I am absolutely down to see it. And given that there could be literally anything in the mystery box, who knows? Maybe there'll be a rematch in there for whichever lucky wrestler wins it next week. Next up, we have a real fire and ice match. This one is too hot to handle and too cold to hold. Historically speaking, the Iceberg Jacob Berg and our resident and justice collector Nero have quite a lot of beef between them. They managed to squash a lot of that beef last year, but there's gotta be a lot of lingering resentment. So let's go ringside right now and see just how much resentment is lingering. The following match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Providence, Rhode Island in the United States, he is the Iceberg, Jacob Berg. Now normally I'd say something like, I hate to dump on this guy, but let's cut the crap, folks. I absolutely live to dump on each and every one of these wrestlers. And as much fun as the Iceberg is to watch in action, there is one word that has dogged his wrestling career: jobber. Granted that the jump from stage magician to wrestler is not the easiest one to make, if he doesn't do something soon, he is going to be trapped in those mid-cards forever. Sure, every promotion needs enhancement talent to get the other talent over, but if you're a wrestler, you really don't want it to be you. And his opponent, from Havana, Cuba, he is Hell Unleashed. He is the Injustice Collector. He is Nero. Now some of you OG viewers might remember that these two have some pretty serious beef. Long story short, March last year we had a very disastrous PLE. People got injured, some of our wrestlers got arrested, and I believe there's still legal action pending, so I can't go into too many details. But one thing I can tell you, one of the Iceberg's magic tricks went horribly wrong, and that's why Nero doesn't have a face anymore. They did duke it out in the steel cage last year, but as you can imagine, there's probably still a lot of lingering resentment, mostly from Nero. Referee Henrietta Sorensen rings the bell and the Iceberg is looking a little confused. But a moment of confusion seems to be a window of opportunity for Nero. We are going to be seeing some sweet high-flying tricks, like that Tope Atomico. These things tend to happen when you take your eye off the ball around an opportunist like Nero. We may indeed see some of that lingering resentment spilling out. And in this case, it's spilling into a game of kinetic chess, and Nero gets the upper hand. We got a bit of back and forth going on, and hey, bad about a swing, we got a swinging neck breaker. The Iceberg absolutely lives for the roar of the crowd, but it may be his undoing, as we saw with that tilt-a-whirl arm drag, and now we got a good old-fashioned slobber knocker. Some folks calls it a yay-boo, I calls it a slobber knocker. This crowd is absolutely deafening, and the Iceberg finishing it off with a stiff punch in the face. And remember folks, it's the Iceberg's world. We all just live in it. And oh my god, what if I am some sort of elaborate NPC created by the Iceberg's imagination? I guess that would make sense. I'm not even the main character of my own story, and Nero is going into the Tree of Woe. The Iceberg running in, but Nero gives him the slip. But man, what if we're all just NPCs in the imagination of a disgraced former stage magician turned wrestler? This is starting to freak me out, people, and I want to pull myself out of this rabbit hole before I go any deeper. The Iceberg lays him out with an uppercut. The Iceberg is lapping up the roar of the crowd and possibly pondering the best way to spend the $50 he's getting paid for this match. If he doesn't sell enough merch tonight, his landlord is going to change the locks again. Nero hitting the springboard, and we got the wheelbarrow into the bulldog. Down he goes. Oh, we seem to be... What the actual crap was that? Now you see him, now you don't. Roll it back, Ernie. The iceberg's shown us that he has still got a little magic up his sleeve. Now, if only he could reattach the limbs of his last 3 magician's assistants. But I guess that one's a bit of a tall order. Nero rolls out of the ring to safety, and he is looking a little discombobulated. The iceberg misses with the falling axe handle, and he pays the price with the falling headbutt. And as always, fellas, please stay away from the... No, Nero, what are you doing? What you're doing is wrong. Oh god, this never ends well when they knock all the clutter off the desk. This is why I really should explore that idea I had last week of building a moat. Nero thumping his way back to freedom, and hopefully we will be back in the... No, what are you guys doing? The iceberg turns the tables. That's it, fellas. Back in the ring, nice and easy. You can do this. Stay away from the desk that this commentator is hiding under. Come on, fellas. Nobody wants a count out. Oh, no. Ow! Seriously, guys, not cool. Make no mistake, we will be having a staff meeting about this. Nero taken to the top rope. There goes the body splash, and he resets the count. And hopefully now we can take this match back in the ring where it belongs. Alright, come on. No! God damn it. Guys, this is not making... No. Oh! Alright, you two hoodlums, listen to me. You two trashing my desk is not making this match any better. Okay, Nero, get off the desk. This isn't funny anymore. Oh god, this is almost as bad as the time the Violator crushed the desk with me underneath it. Thank god I had the foresight to build a trapdoor and a hidey hole, because I knew that day was coming sooner or later. Probably should have made sure there was enough oxygen in the hidey hole, but we are mercifully good gravy! Referee Henrietta Sorensen just got clocked by a rogue Tope Atomico. This match is sweet, merciful crap! What the hell was that? We have got desk bumps, a downed referee, and Nero setting the iceberg on fire. This match has seriously gone off the rails. And as you can imagine, the iceberg is not happy about being set on fire. Most people aren't. The iceberg is returning the favor with a psycho cutter, and people who are actually into being on fire tend not to survive very long in the wild. Nobody wants to admit it, but that there is the truth. Being on fire is not a healthy lifestyle choice. So kids, next time somebody comes to you and says, hey, let's go behind the bike sheds and set ourselves on fire, just say no. Choose not being on fire. It's the healthy choice. The iceberg looking for something big, but he is countered. This truly is a match that's too hot to handle and too cold to hold. And face first into the turnbuckle goes the iceberg, but he is countering his way out. I probably should have told all the kids out there to stop, drop, and roll if they ever found themselves on fire, but you know what? Prevention is the best cure when it comes to being on fire. Or in this case, not being on fire. Nero going over the ropes, and that is one hell of a sunset flip powerbomb. We've seen this look in Nero's eyes before, and he is revving up. Here it comes. Boom! The charging 450 splash. Let's see that again. This is some serious acrobaticism on display. Nero continues to prove why he is one of our best high flyers. This match has already gone off the rails plenty of times, but the fans are loving seeing it up close by the barricade. But mercifully, we are back in the ring. Can Nero get the pin? 1, 2. Oh, kick out just on the 2. And as I was saying to all the little kiddywinks out there, being on fire is whack and should be avoided at all costs. But just a reminder to any kids listening that if they don't stay in school and hit the books really hard, they might make some poor life decisions and end up as a color commentator on this promotion. And don't do that, kids, because I don't need the competition. Iceberg connecting with a stiff shot to the face and a clubbing axe handle to the back. And speaking of poor life decisions, you're about to make one if you don't like this video and subscribe to Linwood Wrestling Legends. The iceberg cranking that figure 4 leg lock, and if Nero can't walk, he can't fly. But folks, what I said there was a gigantic load of crap, because planes can fly, and when was the last time you saw one of them walk? But the iceberg is looking to fly himself. Up and away he goes, and that was quite the dainty little splash. And speaking of other things that can fly but can't walk, frisbees. Explain that one to me, science. The iceberg looking to make a comeback, but he is not above milking it for every last drop of applause from this Linwood crowd. This match is still very much anyone's game, and one has to imagine that the iceberg is still looking for a little payback after getting singed earlier. I know I would be. What the hell is this? That has got to be the most bizarre looking triangle choke I have ever seen. The iceberg has a strange Rube Goldberg-esque way of doing things, and I would love to get inside his brain and walk around for a little bit. One can only hope this is some comeuppance for Nero after his bad behavior earlier. The iceberg looking like he's setting up for something big, and here it comes. Boom! That was the prestige! And apparently we're not getting the replay on that one because Ernie the cameraman had to nip off to the toilet for a second. But nevertheless, we got the drive into the rope. And up and over he goes. How embarrassing. These two have spent a lot of time on the cardboard during this match. That thin layer of cardboard is all that protects the wrestlers from the cement floor of this abandoned warehouse. And my God, has it seen some wear and tear. On the plus side, the traction on that cardboard is really good. And if they wanted to bust out some old school breakdancing, what better place? But we are going back in the ring. And speaking of old school breakdancing, have you ever had a dream that you were all three of the Beastie Boys at once? Me neither. The iceberg gets the whip into the corner and Nero comes running in, but the iceberg gives him the slip. We got another drive into the ropes and Nero is not down and out yet. But the iceberg may very well be if this onslaught continues, and we've seen this one before. Boom! There goes another charging 450 splash. Can he get the pin? 1, 2. Ooh, nearly had him there. And one really has to wonder, does the iceberg have any more magic tricks up his sleeve? Nero jumping the ropes to the apron, and he is daring the iceberg to get back on his feet. Going for a hurricane runner off the slingshot, but he flies straight into the powerbomb. The iceberg is not quite melted yet, and I'm amazed I haven't come up with more ice-related puns during this match. Nero's got the counter. Look at that stomp. Can he get the pin? 1, 2, 3. Nero takes the win. Let's go see some highlights from Ernie the cameraman. We saw a lot of action on the cardboard during this match, and way too much action near this announcer's desk for my liking. It's anybody's guess whether the beef between these two wrestlers will ever be squashed, but one thing's for sure, Nero managed to unload quite a bit of that lingering resentment in this match. If the iceberg was hoping that this match would be his ticket out of mid-card purgatory, he must be sorely disappointed tonight. Mid-card purgatory is indeed a real thing, and sometimes it can be like quicksand. The more you try to fight your way out of it, the deeper into it you sink. Or so I'm told. Congratulations to the Injustice Collector Nero on his win in this match. He's still got a ways to go to get that momentum back after losing his undefeated streak, but this match is a good solid first step. Alright folks, 3 guesses what this is going to be about. While Corey312, who we saw earlier, can barely speak 1, Grace Mutibo can speak 4 languages, English, French, Dutch and Swahili. What the hell is wrong with our education system in the West? Those two have been rattling sabers for well over a year now, and much like the leopard woman, I just want to see some closure, and hopefully here it comes. Good God, Whitney Olivier, you look atrocious. Well, Dad's here, so I guess the fun's over. Yeah, sorry to interrupt your game of online poker there, Todd. Hope you didn't lose too many hands and wind up with another dud of a wrestler you've got to put on our roster. That's how we got the Violator. Responsible adults? Have you seen our roster, Todd? And I wouldn't be so sure about that last part either. There's probably a lot we don't hear about. To be fair, little Andrew has been potty trained, whereas some of our wrestlers could use a little brushing up on some of those fundamentals. Obviously not the Leopard Woman, but they know who they are. And I think the Leopard Woman speaks for us all when she says that she wants closure. I know I do. Well, alright folks, it sounds like we are gonna get ourselves a match. We will be taking bets on said match shortly when we figure out the odds. And just like that, we have a dandy opening match for the mystery box next week. I will never say no to a Linwood death match, and this one is gonna get really ugly. And probably for the best if we just leave Todd alone now, guys. He's already come out twice tonight, and if he has to come out a third time, he is not gonna be a happy hippopotamus. The Queen of the Rotor, Fernanda Cavalera, has managed to successfully turn her luck around lately. But this here tonight is the biggest challenge she has faced this year. Every mother's nightmare, Helena from the Coven. We can't promise you much in this business, folks, but as far as this match goes, we can absolutely promise some high-flying capoeira and maybe even a little dark sorcery. Let's go ringside right now and check it out. The following match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Sao Paulo, Brazil, she is the Queen of the Rotor, Fernanda Cavalera. I've got a really good feeling about this one, folks. You just can't go wrong with a crowd favorite like the Queen of the Rotor, Fernanda Cavalera. And between her and Helena, there is a hell of a lot of talent on display in the ring in this match. But as I've said before, folks, there aren't a lot of wrestlers at this promotion that I actually like, but Fernanda Cavalera, absolutely one of them. When she's not here wrestling, she's calling the bingo numbers at the local retirement home or volunteering at a dog shelter. She is about as babyface as they come. It's always heartwarming when you see somebody like Fernanda Cavalera succeed, but she is going to have her work cut out for her in this match. Her opponent Helena is absolutely no joke, as well as being the strongest wrestler, male or female, we have at this promotion. So Fernanda, the old folks at the retirement home and the dogs at the shelter are all rooting for you tonight. And her opponent, representing the Coven and accompanied by Xenia and Shawnee, from Salem, Massachusetts in the United States, she is every mother's nightmare, Helena. By the prickling of their thumbs, something vicious, delicious, and a little superstitious this way comes. No matter what Helena may face, her sisters in sorcery, Xenia and Shawnee, have got her back. And I know what some of you are thinking. Why does it take the Coven so damn long to get to the ring? Why can't we just hurry them along? And to those people, I would say, I feel sorry for you, man. I feel sorry for anybody who can't appreciate the drama, the pageantry, and the theatrics of pro wrestling. And it's exactly that drama, pageantry, and theatrics that makes pro wrestling the greatest sport in the world. And oh yes, pro wrestling is absolutely a sport. If Texas Hold'em can be a sport and StarCraft can be a sport, then pro wrestling is absolutely a sport. And it's the only sport for me. No disrespect to any sports fans out there, but let's face it, most sports are really boring. If I want to see somebody run with a ball, my Fox Terrier Jasko does a much better job of it than any All Black you would care to mention. And unlike a real-life All Black, Jasko will actually stop when you tell him to stop humping that waitress's leg. So as far as I'm concerned, Jasko the Fox Terrier 1, All Blacks 0. That might not sound very patriotic as a New Zealander, but my dog is loyal to me and I'm loyal to him. Referee Henrietta Sorensen rings the bell, and we are starting things off with a very awkward stare down. We have seen a lot of referee Henrietta Sorensen lately, and I don't want to say nepotism, but nepotism. We're kicking things off with some good old-fashioned collar and elbow work and some kinetic chess. Helena getting the upper hand, and we got the drive into the corner. Referee Henrietta Sorensen breaking them apart, and how refreshing to see that no cheap shots are being thrown. Helena going for the scoop, but Fernanda gives her the slip, and boom! Reverse DDT. That was a slippery evasion. Fernanda getting in a cheeky stomp to the head, and as I've said before, folks, there is a lot more common ground than you might think between the capoeira rotor and the professional wrestling ring, and good gravy! That was one acrobatic tilt-a-whirl head scissors. And if you've never seen a live capoeira demonstration, you are missing out, folks. And we have first blood already. Fernanda is getting distracted by Shawnee from the coven. Helena taking advantage of the distraction to get back on her feet, but she whiffs the tackle. Fernanda had that one scouted. We've already had first blood, and now Helena is looking for some payback with a few stiff shots. Helena getting the Queen of the Rotor by the scruff of the neck and straight into the turnbuckle. And my god, that is a bit of a gusher on Helena's face. Queen of the Rotor blocking her opponent to every opportunity, and nobody home on that moonsault. But fear not, good people of Linwood. If Helena's head wound gets too bad, our staff veterinarian Francesca is on standby with paper towels and a pack of bubble gum, should the wound need to be plugged. And remember last week when I said bubble gum instead of buckle bomb? I'm so glad I didn't make that mistake again, because a buckle bomb would be the last thing Helena needs for her head wound. Helena going face first into the corner. We got the bounce, and boom, suplex off the rebound. Shawnee steps onto the apron, and we have got another distraction. The Sisters of Sorcery are really laying out the distractions tonight, and Helena is taking advantage. That was a sweet back suplex side slam right there. And now Helena goes for the tried and true ground and pound, possibly hoping to draw a little blood of her own from her opponent. And just completely apropos of nothing, folks, have you ever noticed how a lot of wrestling promotions don't have cohesive women's tag teams? They'll just staple a couple of single stars together and call that a tag team. Say what you will about Linwood wrestling legends, but we are not that lazy, and that sign of the horns was absolutely well earned. Sure, you could point to Brandy and Hannibella, who were both in the singles before, but 4 out of 5 ain't bad, and that was a lovely power slam. And we got another ground and pound. Women's wrestling has come a long way, but I feel like a lack of cohesive tag teams does a real disservice to the division. But if nothing else, I'm glad we got that one little thing right. Even if we've got a lot of other stuff horribly wrong. Up and over goes Helena onto the cardboard. That was quite the reversal. Helena lying motionless ringside, and what is going on in the ring? Fernanda is getting distracted, this time by Xenia. And this buys Helena that precious time to come back. Twice the managers means twice the distractions, and boom, look at that atomic drop. And my god, that is a lot of blood we're seeing, but Helena is not letting it slow her down one bit. We got another drive into the corner, and sometimes I wonder what wrestling matches would look like if we had a round ring, and we got the reversal. Fernanda with the run up, and look at that acrobatic backflip. Down she goes with a clothesline. Is that one going to be enough for a relatively early pin? What? Ooh, kick out before the one. And folks, here's a handy little tip if you think you might be talking to an AI. If you think the person you're talking to might be an AI, ask it to recite the value of pi. An AI will come back with something like 3.141 blah 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 yakety smackety. Whereas a real person will say, get the f*** out of my face with that bullshit. Fernanda putting those Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills to work, but Helena is powering out. That said, if you're talking to a mathematician, your mileage may vary, but most of us don't know nothing about no damn pie, and you can just shut your pie hole. Helena roaring in with a choke slam, looking to shut her opponent's pie hole for good. As far as segues go, I've done better, but as we used to say in jazz school, that one was good enough for jazz, and Helena is in the corner. But not for long, because she's got the counter. And what are we seeing here, folks? Boom! There goes the Northern Lights Buster. That was a brutal move. Let's see that one again. And oh yes, I am absolutely gonna mention Aurora Borealis and Principal Skinner's kitchen. I might not know much about pie, but I sure as hell know a lot about steamed hams. Steamed hams. Fernanda down for the count and being dragged to the middle of the ring. Can she get the pin? 1, 2. Oh, kick out just after the 2. But if you want to pick up some steamed hams at our concession stand, they are mostly free of rodent droppings this week. There is a good reason we keep letting that rogue fox terrier back. To scare away the rats. You're doing a bang-up job there, Jasko. Helena's got her opponent in the cradle and over the shoulder and straight into the ropes. Helena is looking to make up some lost ground and putting herself in a good position, and now she is going up top. Boom! Nobody home. Fernanda hitting the rolling thunder kick. We have seen a lot of action so far in this match, and we have still got a ways to go. Helena looking a little unsteady, but she is back on her feet. And we are getting a little ballet, and Fernanda goes over the ropes and off the apron. It's time for another merry old adventure onto yon cardboard, and the crowd are loving seeing this up close. And while I have the crowd's attention, I would like them to make note of where the emergency exits are located. Our boss, General Manager Todd Sorensen, didn't feel like doing paperwork or getting permits, so if the cops come back, we are gonna have to cheese it again. Fernanda charging in and hitting another delightful kick into a backflip. I've got to say that this match is exactly the palate cleanser that I needed after seeing Corey 312 earlier this evening. We are back in the ring and this match is back on the rails. And if you follow Corey 312 on social media, you should be ashamed of yourself. We got some more delightful ballet on display, but Helena is putting it down. Fernanda looking for safety in the corner. And folks, what we're about to see is the polar opposite of safety. Fernanda looks to be getting the 10-count turnbuckle head smash. And we have second blood. Both of our wrestlers are bleeding all over the show, and I hope we've got enough paper towels. Helena going for the arm wringer, but the Queen of the Rotor is not having that. And folks, imagine how boring this show would be if I was one of those people that made reaction videos. Oh my god, the thing you just saw is the thing that happened. Oh my god, bro wanted to do this, but bro got that. And I believe that example is sufficient to illustrate my disdain for those people, and Helena is looking to lay down some dominance. And if any of you people out there regularly start sentences with the word bro, you also should be ashamed of yourselves, and how about that salvo of kicks? And why not a little hot dogging for the crowd? That's the way they do it in the Rotor, and that's how the Queen of the Rotor does it. Fernanda Cavalera back in a dominant position. Going for the Rotor kick, but we got nobody home. And I know what some of you are probably thinking, but John, aren't you just making reaction videos by reacting to what the wrestlers are doing, and we got a Rotor kick? Boom! Let's roll that one back, and I can tell that hypothetical person how wrong they are about that last statement. There is so much more to being a commentator than just telling people that the thing they saw is what just happened. Can the Queen of the Rotor get the pin? 1. Oh, we got a rope break. And as I was saying before you people rudely interrupted me, adding analysis, insight, or criticism to a video is transformative, and that is a good thing. But if you're just describing to people what's happening in the video that they are already watching and using the word bro way too many times, then you should be ashamed of yourself, because that is some low-effort crap. Helena hitting the spine buster off the rebound, and it is that low-effort crap that is Corey 312's stock and trade. That plus AI slop and cryptocurrency pump and dump scams. So folks, don't be that guy. Stay away from reaction videos, AI slop and cryptocurrency pump and dump scams. We're seeing a lot of athleticism on display, and good gravy, look at that Pele kick. Helena rolls out of the ring onto the safety of the cardboard, but she is looking to work her way back in. Fernanda looking to intercept, but Helena has got her number and she gets clocked. Helena stunned against the ropes, and the Queen of the Rotor looking to make something happen. We got a little ballet, a little acrobaticism, little more acrobaticism, head scissors, and boom goes the drop kick. Let's see that again. From the rotor all the way to the squared circle, we have got some serious capoeira skills on display from Fernanda Cavalera. And this kind of acrobatic display always goes down an absolute treat with this Linwood crowd. With the copious amounts of blood we've been seeing, you'd be forgiven for thinking this was some kind of death match. But believe it or not, folks, this is just how we roll. Both of these two competitors are in it till the bitter end. Fernanda catching the kick and going into the dragon screw. And make no mistake, folks, whatever end there is may be very bitter indeed. Somebody might pass out from blood loss, but we will cross that bridge when we come to it, and we've seen this before. Boom! It's not an avalanche, but it's just as cool, and we are going up top. Boom! We gotta see that one again. After this 1-2 combination of the handstand head scissors and the descending espiral, it's gotta be lights out for every mother's nightmare. We shall soon see. My God, that was impressive. Mission accomplished as Queen of the Rotor, but can she get the pin? 1, 2. Oh my God, how do you kick out of that? Every mother's nightmare is not going down easy, and she is making the Queen of the Rotor work for it. Boom goes the Hurricane Rana. Both of these wrestlers are on their last legs, and it's a matter of who's going to wobble and fall. Fernanda hitting another espiral. Is this time around gonna do it? 1. My God, how do you kick out of that? This is some truly supernatural resilience we are seeing on the part of Helena. And how in the world do these two have enough in the tank for a good old-fashioned slobber knocker? This match has truly gone the distance. But how much further can it possibly go? Our staff veterinarian Francesca is going to be very busy after this match. It's got to be very hard for either of these two to see anything through the torrents of blood. Sometimes all you can do is just swing wildly and hope something connects. And oh my God, did that one connect or what? I felt that from here. 1, 2, 3. Fernanda Cavalera takes the win. Let's go see some highlights from Ernie the cameraman. Now, I very rarely have occasion to say this at this promotion, but my God, what a phenomenal match. Fernanda might have taken the win tonight, but this is one of those matches that made both of the wrestlers look good. I'll have to double check with the archives, but I think this may be one of the longest singles matches we've ever seen. The sheer amount of cardio and athleticism needed to pull that off is truly impressive. The Queen of the Rotor might have stumbled after losing her championship shot last year, but this match is going to strap a rocket right to her back, and she is going places. Bravo! Congratulations to the Queen of the Rotor, Fernanda Cavalera. That was easily the best match we have had tonight so far, and that is really going to raise the bar going forward. And my God, look at all that blood. Now that was the kind of match that can absolutely make a wrestler's career. And the Queen of the Rotor is letting us know that she is indeed back in the game. If she can pull off another match like that, she may well be looking at another title shot soon. This week's episode of Linwood Wrestling Legends is proudly brought to you by the law offices of Marcus Tullius Cicero. If you're in the late Roman Republic and you find yourself in need of suppressing a Catiline conspiracy, a character assassinating your rivals, or smoothing over those pesky war crimes in Gaul, then you better call Cicero. Marcus Tullius Cicero, senator, consul, philosopher, and attorney at law. If we were looking for a match to top that last one, I'm sorry to say, but this ain't gonna be it. That said, it's got all the makings of a very interesting match. Yo-Yo Brown was very much a mentor to Homeboy LuvShark when he started out in the wrestling business. So if anything, this is Daniel LaRusso come back to spar with Mr. Miyagi. And I don't know about you, but I'd pay to see that. But luckily for us, we get to see it free. So let's go ringside right now and check it out. The following match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Detroit, Michigan in the United States, he is Homeboy LuvShark. It pains me to say this, folks, but as much as I may like Homeboy LuvShark on a personal level, if we're looking for a match to top the one we saw before, this one ain't gonna be it. The last one was a 5-star match, and I'd give this one 3.5 tops. Then again, I have been pleasantly surprised by both of these wrestlers in the past, so we shall see. And his opponent, from Detroit, Michigan in the United States, he is the Detroit original, Yo-Yo Brown. Straight off the bat, there is a strange mentor-pupil relationship between these two wrestlers. Homeboy LuvShark always said that when he started wrestling at the age of 47 years old, Yo-Yo Brown was the only one who took him seriously and took him under his wing. Then again, Yo-Yo Brown also believes that the moon was built in 1928 by the Soviet Union so they could spy on people at night. So I wouldn't put too much stock in Yo-Yo Brown's opinions. I really don't have the time to dive into every half-baked conspiracy theory Yo-Yo Brown buys into, but you wouldn't believe some of the stuff he posts on Social Sasquatch. He actually pitched us an idea for a weekly segment called What They Don't Want You to Know, with him hosting. Every week would see him go down the rabbit hole of some crazy conspiracy theory or other, and thankfully that one was a hard pass. And looky, what have we got happening here? The anticipation is absolutely palpable. And look at that, good sportsmanship. This is gonna be a good, clean match. And that's a first. Referee Chad Remington rings the bell. LuvShark coming in with a clothesline, and he is determined to show his mentor all the things he has learned. And we got some good old-fashioned kinetic chess. As always, folks, we apologize for those weird video game-like circles you are seeing. And you can absolutely blame Ernie the cameraman. Yo-Yo going for the roll-up. 1! And a kick out after the 1. Maybe that was a little too premature. Believe it or not, folks, that costume is the exact same costume Yo-Yo Brown used to wrestle in the 1960s. I am amazed it still fits, and we have got a good old-fashioned slobber knocker. Yo-Yo is cruising for a bruising, and he just got one courtesy of LuvShark. And folks, I can't tell you how much I've missed seeing LuvShark's sweet dance moves. It really felt like our wrestlers stopped doing those kind of things for a couple of weeks, but thankfully we are back on track. LuvShark coming in with a very unorthodox gut-wrench suplex, and up and over he goes. It's nothing but net for Homeboy LuvShark. We have yet to see the Detroit original mounting any offense of his own, but it's still early, and over the ropes he goes. LuvShark with a headbutt, and he goes off the apron. Homeboy LuvShark looking to fly the friendly skies. Boom goes the body splash. One has to wonder if the Detroit original is regretting getting out of bed this morning. The fact is, we don't know how old Yo-Yo Brown really is, and Yo-Yo probably doesn't either. Between his claims of wrestling 500 days a year and his claims of being cryogenically frozen for a period in the early 80s, it's really hard to pinpoint an exact number. I'm gonna go with 87, but that's just me speculating wildly. Yo-Yo also claims to have had himself cloned at one point in the early 90s, and that is a very scary thought indeed. The Detroit original using his very basic moveset to teach his young apprentice a lesson. And how about that fastball punch? And when I say young apprentice, I mean that loosely. Anybody is young to an 87-year-old. If LuvShark was expecting his mentor to come with the kid gloves, this is going to be a very rude awakening, and into the ropes he goes. Can Yo-Yo get the pin? What? Kick out after the 1. To be honest, I'm amazed to see Yo-Yo Brown back on his feet so soon after getting beaten to a pulp by our champion Hamish Gunn. And we have first blood. Yo-Yo Brown looking to go sky high. He's patiently stalking his prey and waiting for LuvShark to get back on his feet. Whatever this is gonna be very basic, and it doesn't get much more basic than that. Can he get the pin? 1! Kick out after the 1. And folks, just apropos of nothing, one very strange thing about being a commentator is having to listen to your own voice over and over again. If I wasn't already crazy, it'd be enough to do my head in. We are seeing a spirited comeback from Yo-Yo Brown. He is not about to see this comparatively speaking young punk put him in his place. His place being an elder care facility where he can get the help he so desperately needs, but that's neither here nor there. LuvShark intercepting with the body block, and down he goes. I'm amazed we don't have any broken hips or asthma attacks, but it's still early in the match. Look at this, we may be seeing an avalanche. Or not. Don't get me wrong, that snapmare from the top rope was pretty cool, but in no way deserving of a replay, and look at all that blood on LuvShark's face. This Linwood crowd is absolutely mesmerized by LuvShark's sweet dance moves, and I gotta say, I am too. LuvShark claims to have been a backup dancer for British R&B singer Mark Morrison, famous for his song The Return of the Mac. The Return of the Mac. And I do apologize for that, folks. I won't do it again, unless the mood takes me. And speaking of sweet dancing, we're about to see some from Yo-Yo Brown. Boom! Look at that leg drop. That was impressive, and why not raise the roof? In an age where apparently everybody can do a moonsault, there is something simple and satisfying about seeing something like a good leg drop. Yo-Yo Brown also claims to have had his spine replaced with heavy vulcanized rubber. That way he doesn't have to worry about spinal compression from all those leg drops. But if any of you out there are thinking of having your spine replaced with heavy vulcanized rubber, I probably wouldn't recommend it. At the very least, don't tell anybody you got the idea from this show. The last thing we want is to be on an episode of Dark Side of the Ring after an epidemic of young kids having their spines replaced with heavy vulcanized rubber. LuvShark nailing him with the clothesline, and that one hurt. Up and over he goes. And boom! Spine buster. Can he get the pin? 1, 2. Kick out just after the 2. But that was quite the spirited comeback we just saw from Homeboy LuvShark. The Detroit original was starting to show a little wear and tear, and he has got to be feeling it all up and down his heavy vulcanized rubber spine, and boom goes the sit-up powerbomb. Yo-Yo Brown's former apprentice has certainly learned a thing or two. Shazam! Nothing but net with that slam dunk, and LuvShark is setting up for something big. LuvShark taking the back up into the torture rack, and we're gonna see it. Boom! And boom! That was the chocolate thunder bomb. Let's see that again. Roll it back, Ernie. This unfortunately named move, the chocolate thunder bomb, is nevertheless a devastating 1-2 punch. We got a backbreaker followed by a gutbuster, and Yo-Yo Brown's heavy vulcanized rubber spine is really being put to the test. I gotta say, in all honesty, this match is a lot better than I thought it would be. If nothing else, it deserves a couple of extra stars for all the sweet dance moves we have been seeing. We're also seeing a few puddles of blood up and down the ring mat, and as always, our staff veterinarian Francesca is standing by with paper towels. Going back to the collar and elbow, and LuvShark hits him with the knee to the gut. Going for the fishhook. Boom, there goes the fisherman's suplex. Now, I may not be a fisherman, but suplexing a large fish you've just caught seems cruel and unnecessary. I used to have one of those singing Billy the Big Mouth basses on my wall, and it never would have occurred to me to suplex him. Yo-Yo Brown looking for the arm wringer, and boom goes the Russian leg sweep. Can he get the pin? 1, 2. Kick out after the 2. My God, that is quite a lot of blood we're seeing, and I hope these two can bring it home before anybody faints from blood loss. This is Vitaly Klitschko versus Lennox Lewis all over again, but this time the doctor's not going to throw in the towel, and over the ropes LuvShark goes. And if you've never seen Klitschko versus Lewis, you gotta. It's absolutely the best boxing match I've ever seen. LuvShark coming in with the possum kick, and down goes Yo-Yo Brown. He is scaling the barricade. going for the body splash off the barricade, and he hits the mark. We have been seeing a lot of blood and bruises from what promised to be a friendly, competitive match. We are going back in the ring, and this match is going back on the rails. LuvShark looking to go topside. I gotta say, I'm a little concerned about Yo-Yo Brown, but he's a big boy and he made his own decisions. LuvShark taking flight and nailing him with a crossbody. Whatever song in his head LuvShark is dancing to must be an absolute banger. I'm guessing, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. And I am amazed that I can fit my acoustic bass under this announcer's desk, but don't question the magic of pro wrestling. Yo-Yo Brown eating the turnbuckle face first. And maybe this time the song in LuvShark's head is Super Freak by Rick James. I'm sorry folks, that's enough bass playing out of me. LuvShark looking to post up on the middle rope. And here's a little trick he learned from the Violator, the Bum Bum Squash. And just apropos of nothing, how weird would it be if instead of commentary I just doodled on my bass all match? I'm not saying I'm gonna do it, but I'd like to keep my options open. Okay folks, last time I promise. LuvShark going into the fireman's carry and straight into the ropes. The tables have turned and Yo-Yo Brown is leading the dance. There goes the tried and true scoop slam, and we are gonna see it. Boom, there goes the yo-yo drop. Both wrestlers have really pulled out the stops this time around, and Yo-Yo is setting up for something big. Here it comes, folks, and we got 1, 2, and 3. That was the 3 homies. Can he get the pin? 1, 2, 3. Yo-Yo Brown takes the win. Let's go see some highlights from Ernie the cameraman. While I absolutely stand by my earlier opinion that this match could in no way top the previous one, I nevertheless have to give this one 3.5 stars out of 5, which is 2.5 more than I was expecting. As far as LuvShark may have come as a wrestler, Yo-Yo Brown was not about to let this comparatively young punk put him down. I gotta say, it was a refreshing change of pace to see some good competitive sportsmanship, and some really sweet dance moves. It's the kind of thing we should be seeing more of in professional wrestling. Congratulations to the Detroit original Yo-Yo Brown on this victory. I'd tell him not to let it go to his head, but that ship has long since left port, sailed around the Horn, and returned laden with spices the likes of which ye have never seen. But I, for one, am just glad that we saw Yo-Yo Brown in a match that wasn't something ridiculous like a sassafras match or a Minotaur and Cyclops match. I guess there's a first time for everything. Oh boy, here comes the Violator. If you were expecting any kind of poetic discourse from this promo, then you best lower your expectations. That moustache is getting worse and worse, and he looks like he's got a bee up his bum about something. Let's find out. Violator wants squash at Frost Giant. America, it's not just your school system that sucks. This is why the Violator shouldn't be allowed to cut his own promos. Or for that matter, his own sandwiches. Just remember how many stitches he had to get last time. That was unpleasant for all concerned. But is the Frost Giant gonna take the bait? I guess we'll find out soon. And just apropos of nothing, I would love to see a full-length movie full of characters that spoke like the Violator. And now you've done it, because here comes Dad again, and he does not look like a happy hippopotamus. Yes, let's get down to brass tacks and find out what the Violator's boggle is. Isn't Boggle a board game? I don't know, I'm not with it anymore. I swear to God, that moustache is taking on a life of its own. If somebody were to remove that moustache, would we get the old Violator back? That's something to look into. I gotta say, I'm impressed with how patient Todd's being here. Ooh, a mixed tag. I can't remember the last time we had one of those. And hey presto, the card for our mystery box event is taking shape. And folks, we are having a mixed tag match. If you've never seen one, it's where the dudes fight the dudes, the chicks fight the chicks, and it'll all make a lot more sense once you see it unfold. And just like that, 2 more matches on the card for the mystery box. Now that's good booking. Folks, if there's ever been a time I've hoped for a quick, brutal squash match, this is it. This obnoxious, entitled influencer just showed up and demanded to be a part of this promotion. And I don't know about you folks, but that ain't how we do things here in Linwood. This is also a day I never thought would come, because I am going to find myself cheering for the Boxburg Butcher, yonder Slagter. It makes me a little queasy in my stomach to admit that, but let's hope the Butcher can do us all proud tonight. Let's go ringside and check it out. The following match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Boxburg, South Africa, he is the Boxburg Butcher, yonder Slagter. Alright folks, I would just like the record to show that I do not like this man. Yonder Slagter is a bully, a sadist, a psychopath, a stamp collector, and an absolute disgrace to this promotion. I am absolutely disgusted that I am being put in a position where I have to cheer for him, but that's where we are, folks. For probably the first time in his life, the Boxburg Butcher is the lesser of 2 evils. And here's a point I would like to make. There is a huge difference between being a good heel and an unlikable piece of crap. While a person can be a good heel and an unlikable piece of crap, as we see with Exhibit A here, an unlikable piece of crap is not necessarily going to be a good heel. A good heel will put in the work to earn those boos, whereas an unlikable piece of crap just turns up and says, "Ain't I a little stinker, boo me all you want." And when they do inevitably get booed for being an unlikable piece of crap, they think, "Oh, look at all these boos I'm getting, I must be a really good heel." As far as I'm concerned, it's a distinction that doesn't get made often enough. If you look at one of the greatest heels of all time, Ravishing Rick Rude, he absolutely worked his ass off for each and every one of those boos. More to the point, he was a phenomenal wrestler. And his opponent, from Los Angeles, California in the United States, he is the bad boy of Social Sasquatch. He is Corey 312. Now I get it, folks. You all want to boo him, and I'm not telling you shouldn't boo him. But to a narcissist like Corey 312, there is no such thing as negative attention. While an addict might choose their drug of choice over food and water, a narcissist will choose attention over oxygen itself. And in this commentator's humble opinion, the best thing we can do to people like Corey 312 is to suffocate them. Figuratively speaking. Every time you see some obnoxious celebrity or influencer decide they want to be a wrestler, just turn your back on them and don't give them any attention whatsoever. That said, Corey 312 here claims to have a move called the Aurora Coriolis, and he claims this move will revolutionize wrestling. Let's see if he lives long enough to pull it off. I'm hoping no. Referee Hojak von Gunderschnitzelkrum rings the bell, and these two are wasting no time going for each other. Getting into a slugging match with the Boxburg Butcher is like getting into a pissing contest with a fire hose. It's not going to end the way you think it is. But if he wants to try his luck, who am I to try and talk Corey 312 out of it? This is going to be an absolute day at the beach for the Boxburg Butcher. Oh god, can we see that again, Udi? That was amazing! I have wanted to do that since I first laid eyes on Corey 312. and the Boxburg Butcher is absolutely living the dream. The Boxburg Butcher is a lot like a crocodile. He's got big teeth, a thick scaly hide, he wants to hurt you, and he is not even gonna try and deceive you into thinking otherwise. Corey 312 eats a backbreaker. Can he get the pin? 1, 2. Ooh, nearly had him with the 2. So far, this has been an absolutely one-sided affair, and I couldn't be happier. As long as the side I dislike... What the hell is he doing? Corey 312 makes the fatal mistake of hot dogging for the Boxburg Butcher going up top. Sorry about that, folks. I just love it when bad things happen to crappy people, and here goes another one with that Meteora. Corey 312 probably came in here expecting preferential treatment for being a famous influencer, but he is getting the polar opposite. Corey gives him the slip and manages a lucky shot with that rolling thunder kick. And what the hell is he doing? Boxburg Butcher dumps him with a bulldog. Such is the price of hot dogging for the crowd. Most of Corey 312's fans are under 12 years old, so I doubt there are too many of them in the crowd, and they are going back and forth. Corey 312 with a flying shoulder over the ropes. But if you are a Corey 312 fan, be sure to let me know in the comments, because I've got some NFTs you may be very interested in. Are they still a thing, NFTs? Corey 312 coming in with a very unorthodox running attack, and now he is going for the cheap heat with the kicks to the shins. But the Butcher is not having any of it. Boom! That kick clocked him from out of nowhere, and I got a feeling it's only going to get worse. Boom! There goes the JCVD kick. Can he get the pin? 1, 2, 3. Yonder Slagter takes the win to absolutely nobody's surprise. But he is not done with Corey 312, and it is about to get so much better. And if I were you, referee Hojak von Gunder Schnitzelkrumm, I'd stay out of the way. Normally, I would be saying something like, no, please stop, hasn't he suffered enough? But you know what, folks? This is Christmas come early as far as I'm concerned. This is what should happen to all obnoxious influencers. And if I was a religious man, I'd say that the Boxburg Butcher is doing the Lord's work right now. This might not be the best match we saw all night, but it is absolutely the most satisfying. Oh man, the anticipation is killing me. Boom! Share that on your social Sasquatch reel, you blue-haired freak. Thank you, Yonder Slagter, for doing what we all fantasized about doing. And hopefully this is the last we ever see of Corey 312. But one thing I absolutely guarantee, this is the last time I will be cheering for the Boxburg Butcher, so he'd better make the most of it. This new lineup of the Amazons with Athena's cousin Persephone Kalishnikov has been on an absolute roll, and it was only a matter of time before they came for those women's tag championships. That said, Mercedes Cortez and Veronica Mendoza of Las Sicarias have been on an absolute roll too, possibly because of Jonesy's management. One thing's for sure though, Las Sicarias aren't about to drop those belts that they have just won. This is going to be an uphill battle, so let's go ringside and check it out right now. The following LWL Women's Tag Team Championship match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Thessalonica, Greece, Athena Kanakaridis and Persephone Kalishnikov are the Amazons. Alright. Athena Kanakaridis and Persephone Kalishnikov from the Amazons are pumped and ready to go. Given the role these two have been on lately, we may very well see a title change hands tonight. This new lineup of the Amazons with Persephone Kalishnikov has really come together, and this Linwood crowd is absolutely loving them. But then again, this Linwood crowd loves Linwood Knight, so maybe they're not the best barometer. and their opponents, and current LWL Women's Tag Team Champions. Accompanied by Jonesy from the Cockney Pickpockets. From Medellin, Colombia, Mercedes Cortez and Veronica Mendoza are Las Sicarias. Okay folks, right away, what the hell am I looking at? He's a little hard to see in the back there, but what is up with Jonesy's new getup? He's obviously riding high on the fact that both of the teams he manages have won the championships. And I dare say he's looking a little high on his own supply. But I totally get it. When you manage a couple of teams to the championships, the obvious thing to do is go out and spend what little money you have on tacky jewelry and sparkly hats. I mean really, who among us wouldn't? And I have to say that it's a very sparkly hat indeed. Winning the championship is one thing, but defending it is another thing entirely. And we are about to find out if Mercedes Cortez and Veronica Mendoza of Las Sicarias have what it takes to defend their newly won championship. Just for the record, I find that splat noise a trifle unnecessary. I have no idea why our sound tech Vivian left it in. But then again, nobody around here ever consults me on creative decisions. Even though my boss, General Manager Todd Sorensen, is more than happy to steal my ideas and pass them off as his own. I came up with Mid-Card Madness and the Mystery Box. And what did I get for my contributions? Not a sausage. But some sort of veggie sausage like the veggie chorizos I like would have been much appreciated. And it would have made me want to come up with more ideas, but now I'm scared to. But back to the match at hand, and Las Sicarias are in no hurry to drop the belts they recently won. If the Amazons are looking to come for them, they are up against some fierce resistance. But thankfully, we've got referee Zeka Jeremiah Best Jones to keep things from going off the rails. Referee Zeka Jeremiah Best Jones rings the bell and Persephone is wading right in with a stiff strike. And look at that graceful DDT. We're going to be seeing some sweet Olympic-style wrestling from Persephone and Athena. Persephone shoots in for the leg and there goes the back elbow to the face. This Linwood crowd is absolutely loving it. But you know what else this Linwood crowd loves? The tacos we sell at the concession stand. Yo quiero diarrhea. Persephone coming in with an over-the-shoulder belly-to-belly. We're seeing that Olympic wrestling background coming out, and given the Greeks invented the Olympics, that kind of tracks. Into the ropes and over she goes. Wait a minute, now that I think about it, can I use the word diarrhea on the internet without getting cancelled? I really should have double-checked. It's hard to tell who came off the worst with that elbow drop, but it looked pretty painful for both of them. We are back on our feet and doing alright, and this one looks like it's gonna go back in the ring. Persephone slingshotting herself back in the ring. What the hell are you doing, Jonesy? Get out of the ring, you idiot. Nobody thinks you're cool. Veronica Mendoza sticking the Tope Atomico. We've yet to see any kind of resistance from Las Sicarias, but maybe this is it. Into the corner goes Persephone, and we got the tag. Veronica pinning Persephone into the corner, and here comes Mercedes with a step-up Superman punch. Let's take another look. This is teamwork in action. Veronica's back makes a dandy ramp for Mercedes' Superman punch. And with the appearance of Mercedes Cortez, this match just got a lot more brutal, and Persephone is crawling for that hot tag. Tag gets made, and here comes Athena. Mercedes not wasting any time and coming in with that spear. As I've said before, she's one of the few wrestlers here who does a really good spear. It seems like a pretty basic move, but you'd be surprised how easy it is to screw up, and Athena shoots in for the single leg takedown. Jonesy looks like he's up to something outside the apron, and look at this. We got a pull cue in the ring. We got the whip into the corner, but the tag is denied. Mercedes catches the leg and fires back. She is thwarting her opponent at every turn. Sicarias are not in a hurry to give up those belts, and into the turnbuckle she goes, and we got the tag. Mercedes hitting the snapmare, Veronica gets the run up, and we got the drive-by big boot. Veronica on the apron and looking to do a little something off the slingshot. Up she goes and shazam! Athena gets clocked with a missile dropkick. We got a delightful little backflip there. And another whip into the corner. There goes the tag. We are going to see another one of these, and if the crowd liked one, then they're going to love two. At least that's the theory. Mercedes Cortez putting in the boot and getting the cheap shots where and when she can. We got the counter from Athena, and down she goes. And turnabout is fair play. Down goes Athena. Mercedes looking to go topside, and now it's Athena's turn to crawl for the hot tag. Tag gets made, and Mercedes' aerial attack misses the mark. Nobody home. Persephone Kalishnikov looking to turn the ship around. She's got the butterfly hooks, and boom goes the butterfly suplex. It's going to take a little more than that, but that was a good start. Persephone grabbing Mercedes by the scruff of the neck, and into the ropes we go. Over the shoulder, and up and over the ropes onto the cardboard. Down she goes. Persephone Kalishnikov lapping up the applause from the crowd, but the adulation of the mob can be a fickle thing. 1 minute the crowd loves you, next minute you're selling all your gold records to buy diarrhea medicine for your cat. It's a tale as old as time, and here comes Mercedes back into the ring. Persephone looking to wear down her opponent with a flurry of strikes. Into the canvas she goes, and Mercedes should really think about making that tag soon. And one has to wonder, how expensive is feline diarrhea medicine if you have to sell a gold record, let alone several, to afford it? And I've only just noticed Mercedes has a tattoo of Alex Shelley on one leg and Chris Sabin on the other. If that's her way of sucking up to this diehard Motor City Machine Guns fan, that ain't working for me, sister. Mercedes getting laid out with that clothesline, and Persephone is not letting her make the tag. Mercedes shooting back and racking them and stacking them. Can she get the pin? We got the one. And we got the reversal. One. And we got another seesaw. One. And another seesaw. One. And another seesaw. One. And finally a kick out. That was quite the seesaw. Persephone getting the grab, and we got the overhead belly to belly. This match is still very much anyone's game, and we are waiting for a decisive move from either side. And not to take anything away from this match, but folks, I cannot wait till our big mystery box next week. We have never done anything like it, and there goes a sneaky back elbow. We've already got 2 matches confirmed, but it's still going to be anybody's guess who's competing for that mystery box ladder match. Anybody from the tag or singles division can enter, but we can't put everyone in, so we're holding a lottery. The only people who can't enter are current champions, like Sicarias. We got the whip into the corner and the tag. Mercedes pinning her opponent, and Veronica goes for that falling punch. It's nothing fancy, but it gets the job done with a little assist from her old friend Gravity. Veronica looking to go topside where she does her best work. Athena trying to trip her up, but she misses the grab. And good golly, Miss Molly, what do we have here? A tightrope walk and a shotgun dropkick, but can she get the pin? One. And there goes the pin, but let's see that again. As a high flyer, Veronica does her best work up top, and that was a sweet shotgun dropkick off the tightrope. And we got the tag to Mercedes and a tag to Athena. Both sides change sides. We got a spear intercept. And as much as I hate to say it, we are not seeing the Amazons bringing their A-game tonight. Maybe Athena and Persephone need to get themselves a manager like Jonesy. As much as I hate to admit it, that little pot-bellied weasel is absolutely crushing it as a manager. And we got the Fisherman's Suplex. One. And a kick out after the one. And folks, we apologize for that little video glitch from Ernie the cameraman. Athena lays her out with a step-up clothesline, and boom goes the knee drop to the arm. Athena Kanakaridis starting to find her feet, and we have got a merry old drive into the ropes. Mercedes hitting the reversal, and up and over goes Athena. And what the hell is that guy in the crowd doing? He has been jumping for joy just a little too long for my liking. Veronica sliding out of the ring and she is eating a volley of strikes. And up and over she goes with the suplex. And I only just noticed that we are seeing Athena Kanakaridis sporting some new ink. Ow! Face first into the steel stairs. And I am genuinely surprised that the people at Osh haven't been on our ass about those steel stairs. Those things injure a lot more people than they help, and we should just ban them. And folks, wouldn't it be really weird if this show got really big, and then you started seeing all the other wrestling promotions putting cardboard ringside? Just remember, you saw it here first. Veronica with the intercept and a kick to the instep. Up and over into the powerbomb position, and where is she taking Athena? Look at that beautiful pop-up cutter. A powerbomb is really a move for the bigger, stronger wrestlers, but Veronica knows to stay in her lane with that beautiful pop-up cutter. And now she's going for the tried and true ground and pound. Things are starting to look pretty bleak for the Amazons. Veronica going for the tope atomico off the slingshot, but nobody home. There's a reason they call it high risk, high reward. There was no payoff with that one, but maybe there will be with this one. And folks, this is a little something Las Sicarias call the pinata, and it's always bad news. Can she get the pin? 1, 2, 3. Las Sicarias take the win and retain the championship. Let's go see some highlights from Ernie the cameraman. And folks, right away, that was a serious tactical blunder we saw right at the end from Persephone Kalishnikov. If she hadn't headbutted Veronica off the apron, she would have had the time to break up that pin. Sure, Jonesy got hurt during all that confusion, and that's cool, but could she not have broken up the pin first and then hurt Jonesy? These are important questions, people. But one thing's for sure, the Amazons are gonna have to rethink their strategy going forward after this tactical blunder. Or maybe they just need a manager like Jonesy. Congratulations to Mercedes Cortez and Veronica Mendoza of Las Sicarias for this, their first title defense. This Linwood crowd may not like them and may never like them, but they have proved that last time was no fluke and they deserve to wear those belts. Las Sicarias might not be competing in next week's Mystery Box PLE, but they will be enjoying some well-earned vacation time in their hometown of Medellin, Colombia. And as far as consolation prizes go, that's not the worst. Well folks, I'm sorry to say, but that is all the time we have this week. I just want to take the time to thank each and every one of you for tuning in this week. Viewers old, new, and somewhere in between. If you thought this week was crazy, just you wait until next week when we have a big Mystery Box PLE. We have never attempted anything like it, and it is gonna be absolute pandemonium. And you know what? I can't wait. So until then, this is your good buddy, John the Commentator, signing off and signing out.